In more news from the courts, Zandile Mafe, the man who stands accused of setting Parliament on fire, will have to wait a little longer to find out if he will be granted bail. Mafe was denied bail in the Cape Town Regional Court last month and is now appealing to the High Court to let him out. Here's eNCA's Ayesha Ismail with that story.
Determined to be let out of jail on bail, Zandile Mafe, through his lawyers, appealed to the Western Cape High Court to set the magistrate's decision aside. Mafe made world headlines after he was arrested on January the 2nd for allegedly trying to burn down Parliament. Mafe made several court appearances in the lower courts, charged with arson, terrorism, housebreaking and theft. He was also sent to Valkenburg Psychiatric Hospital after the state presented a document from a medical doctor stating that Mafe suffers from paranoid schizophrenia. But his lawyers successfully challenged this in the High Court, which saw him released from Valkenburg and sent to Pollsmoor prison to await his trial. His lawyers still maintain there is nothing wrong with him. They say the magistrate made a wrong decision in denying him bail.
To put it bluntly, my lord, not even the state believes that there's something wrong with Mr. Mafe. If they did, they wouldn't have taken him to a confession an hour after the so-called diagnosis. They don't. They know that it is a falsity, and they knew it then, and they know it now. Fortunately now, all South Africans also know it.
But the state is sticking to its story, that they have the right man, and when the time comes, it will produce the evidence to back this up, including video footage showing Mafe in the building for 30 hours before setting the place on fire.
The first executorial statement was made to a commissioned officer and Justice of the Peace, Colonel Tron, Obas Tron, as he was referred to by the appellant. Those self-incriminatory statements where he unequivocally tells Tron that he set the Parliament alight, and that he was proud of actually setting the Parliament alight. Second, as self-incriminatory document is the pointing out. He goes to the petrol station and says, this is where I bought the petrol, and I took this is the way I got in the taxi, and this is where how I drove to Parliament, and this is how I entered Parliament, and where in fact I then set the Parliament alight.
He says the confession made by Mafe speaks to his political ideology.
It's a critical part of the allegations contained in the terrorism charges. Political or ideological motive for the attack on Parliament.
Judges James Lekuleni and Daniel Tulare have reserved judgment. Ayesha Ismail, Cape Town.